So last week I was in Amsterdam filming a conference and I was shooting mostly on the Canon 5D Mark IV for video, but I also paired up my 6D with a 70 to 200mm f-stop 2.8 Canon L lens to shoot photos inside. I also used the 6D with a 24 to 70mm lens as a safety shot for some of the video interviews. Now, after revisiting the 6D with a brand new, fresh perspective, I'm breaking down my 6 reasons why you should absolutely still consider getting a Canon 6D Mark I today. So the first reason has to be that the Canon 6D has a 20.2 megapixel full frame sensor, which means it performs well in low light and at high ISOs. The ISO on the 6D ranges from 100 to 25,600 natively and extends to the ranges of between 50 and 102,400. And of course this means a lot less grain when compared to your crop frame cameras, which makes them great for photos, especially when you're shooting inside poorly lit hotel conference rooms with very dim yellowish lighting. So here are some examples of photos that I took during the conference on the Canon 6D and with the 70 to 200mm f-stop 2.8 Canon L lens with no flash. And they're not too bad considering the poorly lit conditions. As you may or may not know, I'm more of a videographer than a photographer, but with clients requesting both video and photos, I find myself doing more and more photography for these kinds of events. Now, in line with photography, we come to another great piece of functionality, and point 2 on our list are the autofocus points. The Canon 6D only has 11 autofocus points and 1 cross type, which is the center point. Now, compared to modern cameras, these numbers seem to pale into insignificance. However, the autofocus points actually work extremely well and almost guarantee that you get sharp images. Now, I've seen a lot of similar comments like this on the Canon forums, as well as comments on my own videos and other 6D review videos, and they're all about how good the autofocus works on the 6D, especially how fast and reliable the center autofocus point is. So I'm definitely counting that as a plus. Our third point is that you can purchase a Canon 6D Mark I for a really reasonable price. Down to the fact that most people are looking to upgrade to the next best camera, sites like eBay are flooded with unwanted older camera bodies, such as the Canon 6D. And with the possibility of purchasing one for £400 in the UK or under $500 in the US, for a full frame Canon camera, that is still an extremely good price. The fourth point on our list is the proven robustness of the 6D. It's been around since 2012, and I've had mine for about 5 years, and I've never had a single issue with it. And I've read similar comments like this in my previous Canon 6D videos. For example, one YouTuber, Peter Howe, commented on my first 6D video and said that he'd used his for over 100,000 actuations since 2014, and it's still going strong. And there are many similar comments of that nature around the robustness and longevity of this Canon camera. It's kind of like buying a second-hand Toyota or Honda where the engine is clocked up over 100,000 miles but still won't die. Yes, the 6D has definitely proven itself in the test of time, making it a reliable piece of camera equipment. Now, in addition to this, it's also quite light for a full frame, coming in at 770 grams, much lighter than both the 5D Mark III and IV, making it ideal for avid travel photographers. And this brings us nicely onto another benefit, and point 5 on our list, and that has to do with the Wi-Fi functionality. This camera is ideal for social influencers and travel photographers who live on Instagram, because you can get those high quality full frame pics out of your camera directly onto your phone via the Canon app and straight up onto your social media accounts. Now, a lot of modern cameras have Wi-Fi functionality as standard, but back in 2012, that simply wasn't the case. So for this camera to have that type of functionality is actually a massive plus. Now, as a videographer, I have to mention the video capabilities of the 6D, which is our 6th point. It's a great starter video DSLR camera. I've used it in the past to film some of my earlier wedding work, as well as a few corporate pieces, although I don't really use it for video much at all these days, and that's simply because the newer cameras, such as the 5D Mark IV and the EOS R, offer a lot more in terms of DPAF, 4K filming, C-Log, high frame rates, etc, etc. But as a first-time filmmaker, an indie filmmaker, or possibly a B-cam for a videographer, there are adequate options to play with on the Canon 6D. In the camera community, we tend to talk a lot about the latest and greatest, newest cameras and available functionality, but cameras like the 6D are still really good for what they were made for in terms of creating beautiful photos and also the video capabilities. And cameras like the 6D have a proven track record of their reliability over several years. The 6D was my first full-frame DSLR, and I've personally learnt a lot from using it. So those are my 6 reasons why you should absolutely consider getting yourself a Canon 6D. There are many more. If you own one already, then let me know what you think down in the comments section. And if you're considering getting a Canon 6D, again, feel free to ask me any questions you have down in the comments section below. If you haven't done so already, guys, subscribe to KaiCreative. Remember to stay creative, imagine, implement, and inspire. And I'll catch you next time on KaiCreative.